When I was like 14, I really wanted to be a voice actor. So my mom, trying to help, bought me a book about how to become a voice actor. The only problem was this book was written in the 90s, and the advice in the book was kind of laughable. It's like, take a cassette, record your voice onto the cassette, and send it off to a bunch of radio stations. This advice, take a cassette and send it off to radio stations, might have been very true in the 90s. That might have been the way that you do it. But now, things have shifted so dramatically that it is gesturing as advice towards a world that no longer exists. Now, obviously, this kind of wisdom is laughably useless right now, but in the grand scheme of things, we're still running into the same sort of problem as artists existing in the modern context. The media landscape that existed in the 90s is dead. It's so dead. It's rotted away. There's not even a trace of its corpse left. Same goes for the 70s, same goes for the 50s. All the wisdom and advice that artists were getting in the 50s, no, newsflash, no longer applies. It's not relevant. We are now making art for platforms that do not distinguish between content and slop and art, and we are competing with every motherfucker on the planet that has a phone. And you're not even competing with every human being that has a phone. You are also competing with non-human intelligent AIs that can have infinite stamina and produce content every hour. Okay, that's your that's the competition now. Okay, so someone growing up in the 50s has no clue what sort of advice to give someone growing up now. No idea. Obviously, some of the advice does hold true, or there's a kernel of truth still in it, but it needs an update. It needs a patch update, is all I'm saying. We are producing to feed black box machines that do not have our best interests in mind. All of that wasn't bad enough. Guess what? The entire landscape changes every 2 years. You weren't competing with non-human intelligence as 2 years ago. Now you are. 5 years before that, all the social media platform algorithms worked differently, okay? It's constantly changing. Time and time again, I see, for example, filmmakers who are stuck in the 70s. They look at some, like, the life of a filmmaker that grew up in the 70s and became super successful and think, I'm gonna do that. No, you're not! Sometimes we as artists are unwittingly following the wisdom, following in the footsteps of people that no longer exist and can never exist again. Let me share with you, just off the dome, a couple of pieces of bad advice that have been passed down that I see infecting people's brains. Here's a big one. Thinking you're gonna get discovered. Fella, that's not gonna happen. We have this romantic idea of, like, we're singing on a train or something, and a producer, he, like, overhears it, and he comes to me, he's like, I heard your voice, I'm gonna make you a star. The equivalent of that is not gonna happen on the train, okay? It's gonna be posting videos into the void, and the producer is the black box algorithm that randomly selects your video, okay? That's kind of what it's like. And also, there's no producer anymore as, like, a human being. You are the producer, you're the marketer. There is no producer, okay? You are never going to be just the talent. That's impossible now. You are going to be the producer, the marketer, the boom mic operator, the audio engineer, the filmographer. You are everything yourself. Just, like, look at the credits of a movie and imagine your name is right next to every role on that credits list, okay? That's the reality of the situation. It's not good, but there's no point in pretending that that's not the situation. That's the situation. And obviously this drives people insane, rightfully so, because you are running the entire machine as a single unit. And people wonder why we're all on Vyvanse. And yeah, maybe not forever. Maybe at some point you will be able to outsource that. But by the time you're able to outsource that, you are going to be so wildly successful that you've outpaced every single one of your peers. You're at, like, a super high tier of achievement just to outsource one or two of those things. Or you have rich parents, or you're working a day job, okay? Those are the only options. If you don't put yourself in the position to be the marketer for the things that you're making, or to just make things that are inherently marketable, no one's gonna see your stuff. That's just how it works, okay? Here's another piece of bad advice, right? Keep your art subtle. You used to be able to keep your art a little bit more subtle. You could, like, spend 5 years exploring complex, nuanced themes as a novelist. Now, that's not gonna work. No one's gonna read your shit if that's all you're doing for 5 years and you're not doing anything on social media to make people care about your book. Unless every character in that book is from The Simpsons or perhaps Homestuck, okay? Then it has some inherent marketability to it from other audiences. But if that's not the case, you're in a rough spot. There are, of course, exceptions to these rules, all right? But they are vanishingly and exceedingly rare. Okay, last piece of dead wisdom I'm gonna give you. These are just examples. This is what I find dead wisdom. You gotta be on the lookout for things that you view as dead wisdom. The idea that traditional media is where it's at. I'm gonna be on TV I'm gonna be on radio. I went to journalism school, motherfucker. You know how much the guys that worked in radio make? 30,000 Canadian dollars a year, all right? And they work like 12 hours a day, all right? So I think that's enough for food. Maybe if you're eating goy slop, you save on the food. Maybe you can buy like I don't know. You could buy like shoes every year. Every year you can buy shoes and some clothing. You got some food, some shoes, and some clothing. That's basically it. All right, not a desirable outcome. All right, so the obvious question here: how do you get the good wisdom? Where's the good wisdom at? If there's all this bad wisdom, I don't know. What do you? I know everything. I know everything now. You come to this channel, you think I know everything just because I'm speaking authoritatively. I'll give you the same meta advice about wisdom that I always give. If someone's giving you wisdom, it's a map for how to become like them. That's all wisdom is. So look at the person giving you the wisdom. Are they 70 years old? Have they never made any art? Maybe no, maybe not good wisdom. Perhaps. Is the book written in the 80s? Maybe there's some gems in there. I won't discount that, but probably a lot of it is outdated. No wisdom exists in a vacuum, okay? You got to find the kinds of people you want to be like, and you got to follow their wisdom. You maybe even have like a personal relationship with. But ultimately, look, I'm going to be real with you. It's hard out here, all right? It's hard times. It's very, very difficult. So you're going to have to figure out a lot of this yourself. Lord knows I did. You know, a lot of the path that I carved, I did carve alone. I have people that help me now, and I'm grateful for that. But a lot of it, you have to figure out yourself. And a lot of this stuff works differently for different people. And there's really no way around it. And it's actually way, way harder than it should be because we're all atomized and not sharing the important information with each other because we think it's very important to keep that to ourselves or we just don't have the right connections. And then all of this is taking place in the broader context of a general wisdom crisis where no one knows who the fuck to listen to for anything about anything. Because everyone's doing my shtick where they're just authoritatively talking about things and being like, this is the way things are, and you have a million frameworks, you don't know which one to pick. And so we're living in a time where we are drawing these maps ourselves, and all I can really say is, if you figure out stuff that works for you, then share it with your community, share it with people who are struggling. That's really all you can do. And don't be afraid to ask people to articulate some of the wisdom that they have learned if they are someone that you want to be like, and you want to get some wisdom from them and sort of transform yourself in some aspects into being how they are basically. And we like doing this. Humans like doing this for other human beings. We like sharing wisdom. We like being useful. It's inherent to all of us. That's how you get to be brilliant. Did somebody say brilliant? Did somebody say brilliant?
Brilliant. The sponsor of today's video.
Brilliant. The sponsor of... Ad! Speaking of wisdom for a dead world, wouldn't it be nice to go to a place that gave you proper, relevant, up-to-date knowledge? And if you're thinking the answer to that is university, I've got bad news for you if you've been paying attention to the last 15 years. Hank Green has this video about how we're not addicted to content, we're actually just starving for information. We consume all this content because we want to get good facts, and there's just, it's diluted by a bunch of nonsense that's basically there to steal our vril, to waste our time. And Brilliant is a place that doesn't steal your vril. I mean, you know, you give them money. That's, I guess, the transaction. But they don't steal your attention, and that's actually much better for you in the long run. As a YouTuber, I often find my days swallowed in an endless haze of nothingness. And then I think to myself, why am I creating content that just produces more of this haze of nothingness? That's why I started the second channel. It's because I'm like, I could probably distill some actually valuable information to other human beings in what I've suffered through with my artistic process. And Brilliant is like that, but for coding, for AI, for stats. Right now I'm using the stats feature to learn stats skills to employ on my main channel so I can do data analysis for my audience. I don't know nothing about stats. I don't know what a p-value is, but with Brilliant I'm learning these things. And the more you learn, the more you earn. So what are you waiting for? You gotta go to my link right now, you idiot. You gotta be brilliant. You're going to be brilliant by the time I'm done with you. And if you don't, oh, you'll get one of these, pa! And one of these, pa! Brilliant. Thank you for sponsoring this video. This was a great financial decision. Make sure to keep working with me on this channel.